Hey, welcome to my channel. Um, I think I put a live yesterday, which for the first time streamed from my phone, which is great. Finally, that it gave me the ability to stream from my phone. I didn't hit the mark of, at the time, what was 1,000 subscribers to be able to stream live. But I think the fact that people now are able to do live stream on TikTok as well as Twitch and such, I think YouTube lowered the barrier to do a live stream from your phone. But in any case, um, I discussed very briefly about something on there while I was doing my live rant about multiple things, and I actually saw a Rivian and then a Tesla would drive by, and I was like wondering, like, okay, this is great, but then I brought up, it came up to the point, I was like, you know what, it's great that these cars are environment friendly, but at the same time, manufacturing the cars is one thing, and also charging them up, are they really eco-friendly? Put it bluntly, the electricity that you're basically charging your vehicles, however it is, whether from your home or anywhere else, on the electrical grid itself, these electrical utility companies are getting a majority of their power from where exactly? Not from the not from hydroelectric, I forgot how it's called, but a hydroelectricity, basically from water, as well as solar, as well as, you know, wind power, i.e. those windmills, big windmills, or geothermal for that matter. Most of it's from old school coal and burning, basically, at this point. And it's one of those things where, granted, it's coming down a little bit more, but not so much, quite honestly. And it's one of those things where it's great that it's there, but at the same time, you know, for these cars, you know, being electric. But the thing is like, it's only these small vehicles. There are other vehicles as well too, like buses, even though buses are on diesel and biofuel, which is great, as well as trains, which is its own different story. And then of course there are jets, i.e. planes, jet fuel. That's jet fuel. That's much more potent than these cars. Granted, there's not as many planes out there are cars, but still, they fly up in the atmosphere and they dissipates all over there, basically. And then, of course, there's space travel, rocket fuel. Where's that coming from? That's not eco-friendly stuff. So let's not forget some of the stuff that we're building, like these gigafactories that we're building that are being used to build these cars, to build these vehicles. They're also generating a larger creating a larger carbon footprint than you're anticipating. Now, if these gigafactories are able to essentially reduce their footprint by generating, you know, creating these or manufacturing these vehicles via hydroelectricity, which is one aspect, but geothermal as well as solar. I mean, solar can only get you so much, generate so much power. It offsets. I mean, it's probably like 10%. Let's not forget, solar is probably 10% of the energy that you can get from if you housed it in your, you know, had it in your house. It's one of those things that it wouldn't be able to power up everything and anything. It would be able to power up quite a few things only, because at this point, a lot of our devices, a lot of our appliances and such are power hungry stuff. That's why you have those wall chargers at this point as well too. So it does offset some of the from the electrical grid, but at the same time, not as much. So if every home, every building, every charging station were to use some parts of solar as well into the charging units to charge these vehicles, okay, then, you know, you are reducing it a little bit, but not by much though, because again, you're hearing, and there's, you know, all these utility companies are saying is like, hey, look, wait up, you know, like, it's great to charge these vehicles, but we don't have the infrastructure in place because the grid's going to be oversaturated. And specifically in California, talk about California for a second. They're talking about the fact that PG&E and SCE and all that stuff, they're all talking about the fact that it's like, hey, look, we don't have the capacity to power all these vehicles. And that's why, you know, Tesla's realized like, hey, yeah, we can, like, you know, charge a arm and a leg basically for, you know, to charge your vehicles. I mean, back in the day, they wanted people to go to vehicles, and that's why these superchargers were free for Tesla owners in the beginning. But now they realize, hey, we're getting electricity, we could charge them now. And that's why sometimes people are saying like, you know, is it cheaper to charge your vehicle versus gas. Because the thing is like, if you do a comparison between electricity and gas, environmentally makes sense, but from a cost perspective, it's a little different story. And I think in one other video from another video I'll create, I'll actually show all the numbers out there. I remember there was a lot of people that have done numbers. I've done the numbers myself as well too, and I realized it's not as much as it's not as cost savings as you think it is. Eco-friendly, yes, but cost-wise, not as much. At the time back then, when we had gas, the gas shortage or oil shortage and such, yeah, it was a result of like, okay, that's why people start shifting towards EV vehicles. But now, as more and more companies are charging for the electricity, and as well as these electrical power grids, they're charging up a nickel and an arm and a leg as well too. It's not as straightforward and easy as you can do, basically. And sometimes people are like, you know what, maybe I could charge my vehicle at a mall if it's for free, or some other industrial building that we can take off of them, basically, at that point. It's not something where, remember, like, it's not something where you could just plug into a regular outlet to charge a vehicle. It's something where you got to get these specific chargers in place at that point as well too. And now coming to space, rocket fuel, it's a huge factor. I mean, granted, we're not going up as much, but now if SpaceX and all these other companies, Virgin Galactic, Blue Sky, if they all are, or Blue Orbit, Blue Sky is the Twitter clone. If all those keep becoming more and more frequent, and they're using rocket fuel, we're gonna like definitely pollute the planet even more at that point as well too. So it's great that it helps, but at the same time, these fuels that are being used to power these rockets, as well as to power our airplanes, they're not as efficient as they should be. I know, granted, they're trying to make it as efficient as they can, but it's not as much as you would think it'd be. And of course, let's not forget these factories that are being generated. I mean, like, a lot of people are trying to retrofit the factories so that they're not using coal or fire burning, basically any aspects of using fire to generate electricity. They're trying to avoid, like, trying to retrofit that to make it more more eco-friendly with solar as well as wind. The problem is wind actually really works. The problem with these windmills, but the problem is like, people are so against it because of the fact that aesthetically speaking, they're not as pleasing to the eye as compared to, like, hydroelectricity from dams. But you're not going to create your own dam. I mean, creating your dams are basically unnatural in ways as well too. You're not utilizing the nature itself. And then there's geothermal, which can work, but to a certain extent as well too. These are all different variations that we've got to take into factor at this point as well too. So let's take a step back, saying, oh, you got to go all EV, or like hey, all these cost cuttings, coal, we got to cut away from the coal and all this stuff. I mean, yes, we do, but at the same time, by mass producing all these other cost-conscious or eco-friendly, I'm sorry, not cost-conscious, but eco-friendly vehicles and devices, how we manufacture them is one of the big things we got to look at as well too, and what they use to like recharge themselves at that point. And that was one of the things where I was more a proponent of for hydrogen powered vehicles, those fuel cells, basically, where you just basically pour in hydrogen and the byproduct was water, which is great. Fresh water is something that I think everyone needs. And if you're using water to like create straight up as a byproduct, I mean, is there a problem with that? I wouldn't think so. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to say, but like I said, I'll probably create another video with the metrics and numbers that are needed to show the cost value between an electric vehicle versus let's say a hybrid vehicle, which is gas powered, versus where there's the gas hybrid plug-in vehicle, and then there's a gas hybrid non-plug-in, and then of course pure gas guzzlers as well too. And then of course, let's not forget biodiesel is another big factor, and not only biodiesel, but there's also diesel. Diesel, of course, is still is still oil. I mean, but it's not as much as compared to like biodiesel, which is like basically remnants of like food and bio crap, basically. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Let me know in the comment section if you think I should create another video with all this information, a little bit more information. If you want it, I will create one. And it'll be a little bit longer video, of course, and it'll probably be a little bit more scripted at that point as well, too, honestly. I'll have to script that one out, quite honestly, because I want it to be much more leaner and more relevant for you guys, and much more interesting for you guys as well, too. I don't want to throw up graphics, but, you know, like slides or whatever it may be to show the numbers and all that stuff at that point as well, too. So please let me know. Or two, let me know what your thoughts are about this. Do you think EV vehicles are the way of the future, or should we still maybe push towards fuel cells as well, and anything else for that matter? And I do read all my comments. I do respond to my comments when they warrant a response, and when I also get notified, of course, too. And also at the same time, you're welcome to, like, you know, comment on anything else for that matter, but I ask that it be relevant to the content that I'm posting up at that point as well, too, quite honestly. With that, I'll leave it at that. I also ask for those who like my video, like my channel, like my content, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. For those who have, I appreciate it. Thank you. And if you are a subscriber and you rather have me discuss something more relevant or more, you know, or generate more different types of content that are more relevant to what you want, please let me know. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, unrehearsed. Until next time.